This video is brought to you by my two books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist and The Blues Guitar Bible. Want to learn about modes, harmony, scales, chord substitution and keys? Or maybe you're interested in supercharging your blues guitar rhythm and lead chops. Whatever you're interested in, I guarantee you will be hitting the fast lane to progress with either of these works. Both feature video demonstrations and tutorials, loads of tabs and jam tracks to play along with, and I promise you, everything is explained in crystal clear plain English. Check out the links in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Now, as you can probably tell from the bright sunshine bouncing off my bald noggin, it's the time of year when every single solitary grain of pollen in creation seems to be making a beeline for my nostrils. So if this video looks a little bit jumpy in places, it's because I've had to edit out a few sneezes. Anyway, one highlight of the summer that is much more pleasurable than hay fever is this new album from Slash, Orgy of the Damned. It's a very Slash title, isn't it? Basically, he's done another one of these sort of collaborative albums, where he basically gets his phone book out and calls up a few people and says, do you want to come and do an album with me? Billy Gibbons is on there and a host of people. And it's a blues album, all kind of bluesy anyway, and there's quite a few banging tracks on it, including the first track on the album called The Pusher, which, if you're a habitual watcher of the old movie Easy Rider, you'll know that that's was it written by Hoyt Axton, but I mean the version everybody knows is by Steppenwolf, and Slash and the lads have done an absolutely stand-up job on this, and there's a great solo in it which goes a little bit like this. So that's my rendition of Slash's solo from essentially a cover of the Steppenwolf version of Hoyt Axton's The Pusher. Let's take a little bit of a look at what's going on in the solo.
Solo explanation.
Let's begin as always by taking a look at the chord sequence the solo is played over, which goes like this. So let's break that down a little. There is the chord sequence there. G followed by a C chord with a G bass note, followed by an F chord with a G bass note, then back to a C chord with a G bass note. And then in the second, 4 times through that, then in the second line, it goes to essentially the same thing, but a 4th higher. And then the final line is just kind of coming back down to where we started again. There is another way you can break this down. For instance, you can think of the C with a G bass note and the F with a G bass note. So if you can kind of express all of those as being types of G chord, like this. So you can think of it as being G to G6 sus4 to G11th to G6 sus4, and then the same for the second line, but from a C tonality, and then back to the G tonality for the final line there. And that in turn can just be thought of as basically being some posh versions of G7, some posh versions of C7, and then back to G7 again. And that is essentially just the 1 chord and the 4 chord in a blues. Let me just point the camera down a little. And that's exactly how Slash plays over this. He just thinks of it as a blues thing. And what are we using a blues? Minor pentatonic. Okay, so if we think in terms of G minor pentatonic, which is what you would use for a blues in G, we've got pattern 4 of that scale up here at the 10th fret. And into that scale, we're going to add a couple of extra notes. We're going to add an A note there and there. And we can also add an E note. Well, he does add an E note, which you'll find here and here. So that gives us and when you add a G note when you add an E note and an A note into a G minor pentatonic, you end up with the G Dorian mode. And I've done videos about this in the past, about using the Dorian mode in a blues setting, and this is a textbook example of it. Most of the action takes place either in that shape I've just demonstrated there, or up in this pattern 1 area of G minor pentatonic, up at the 15th fret. So let's take a look at some of the licks. We start with this. There's that A note coming in, and then bending up to it again there, and then a minor third bend like that. And that's essentially the first collection of phrases in the solo. Then we basically do that again with a little leading. I beg your pardon. Something like that. And then a little bit of a 16th note run of notes like this. Like that. Those notes in that order. I'm just sight reading from the tab here as I'm playing it. I actually did the solo a couple of days ago, so it's not as fresh in my mind. But those are basically the notes. And then we hit the C chord, where we take the similar motif, that there's that E note coming in just briefly as we bend up to the F, and then he really kind of canes that E note here, bending up from that D, and then another big 3 semitone bend here on this E note at the 17th fret, and then so that whole little section there over the C chord goes like that. And then we come up to the G minor pentatonic up here, just for some accessible 16th note kind of stuff. Just coming straight out of that G minor pentatonic pattern there. Then what have we got? We've got really kind of classic little blues lick there. And then again, just walking up that G minor pentatonic pattern. And then there's that kind of hook that we started off the solo with, that da da da. And then what have we got? Then we're bending up to that A note there. It is a little bit erratic, the rhythm of those kind of bends and releases, and it's not really like a structural part of the solo, so just kind of give it a bit of something like that and you'll be fine. Then we're back down to where we started again at this pattern here of G minor pentatonic. What have we got? And again. There we go. So essentially just a collection of blues licks from the Dorian mode over what is essentially just a slightly more fancy version of the 1 chord and 4 chord in a standard blues. That's what's going on. Now you know what to do. Go away and have some fun with it. As always, you'll find a full tab for that solo in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it, that explanation you've just seen there, and a backing track to play along with yourself. All of that is up on my Patreon page. There's the address, link in the description, as I'm sure you know. $3 or £3 a month gets you access to all of these additional goodies that go along with these YouTube videos. And of course, a massive, massive thank you to everyone who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are downstairs in the description. And that's pretty much it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video and found it useful and informative and entertaining perhaps in some small way. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell in case you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time. We drink beer and talk about music and guitars and all manner of things. It's a great way to kick off the weekend and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.